Duck and Oliver are both great Western engines, and due to this they often like to talk about the old days before they arrived on Sodor. This is because the two came from very different communities, as they discussed one day. My oh my, Arthur, I never would have thought a great Western engine would ever be spoke to like that. Well, these are the same people, lest we forget, that left me in the scrapyard to be destroyed, so my manager never did look on any of us too kindly. I just hope I wasn't the only one who escaped. I hope so too. Although I don't think we'll ever find engines as kind as the ones on the North or Western Railway. That's true. No wonder what their paths were. Hopefully not as scary as mine. Well, you say that, but Toby was rescued too in a way. His old line was closing down because of things like trucks and bosses. But the Fat Controller brought him here. He says it was because of a pesky policeman, but I think there was a bigger reason than that. Wonder what it was? I've been asked to help on a branch line today, so when I see Toby next, I must ask him, and then I'll let you know. A few days later, they did meet. Toby was picking up his load when Duck came into the yard. Hello, Duck. How is your branch line treating you? Oh, it's marvellous. How is Thomas's going? Well, they had a big argument recently, but they finally saw sense and forgot about their fight. With a little hope from you, I imagine. Well, I may have had something to do with it, but I'm sure they would have figured it out themselves at some point. I wish I could take milk tankers too, instead of this horrible lot. Oh? I thought you knew how to deal with trucks. I do, for the most part. They still won't let me forget about the time they chased me into a barber's shop. Oh yes, I remember. If I recall correctly, they introduced the duck treatment shortly after that incident. That's the cheeky buggers. Oh well, live by your mistakes. That's the Great Western Way. That's not just the Great Western Way. I think you'll find that's everyone's way. Perhaps. I wish we could speak for longer, but this lot's ready to go, so I mustn't keep waiting here. I'd love to hear more about your old line. My old line? Oh, I hope he doesn't ask me to talk about it. Although Doug didn't know it, Toby's mood had been ruined by the mention of his old line. Despite how pleased the Fat Controller was, and always had been with him, he always felt like he was partly to blame for the line being forced to shut down. I wonder why Doug mentioned the old line. Perhaps I haven't improved and I make the same mistakes I did back then. Perhaps the Fat Controller has just been generous every time he's called me a really useful engine. But he was so fed up about me, he started talking about the old line, and now he wishes I'd stayed there. Maybe I'm a burden on the whole railway. Toby, don't say such silly things. Of course you're a useful engine, why wouldn't you be? Well, I am often slow. Toby, you're very rarely late, so how could it be because of that? Maybe being on time just isn't good enough. That's what Gordon told me once. I just don't know anymore. Ah, hello, Toby. I hope you're not having any problems. Any problems, sir? Oh, no. Everything's functioning as it should. Well, that's good, then. It won't be long until you can have a nice long rest. Yes, sir. My jobs for the day are almost all finished. No, I don't mean like that. I mean when your replacement comes. My replacement? Oh, no, thank you. I don't need a break. It's a nice gesture and everything, but no, thank you, sir. I can make you proud. Just you watch. But, Toby, I always end up telling Toby tales of the Great Western Railway, but I never get to hear about Toby's place before those trucks and cars came and ruined it. From what I hear about it from the Fat Controller, it was a beautiful place. I must remember to ask Toby about it when I next see him. If I speed up, I might have more time to talk to him before heading to my shed for the night. No, you don't. We're going fast enough. You go any faster, you'll be going too fast. What a load of rubbish you lot talk. Too fast? There is no such thing as too fast. The next day, Toby was still worried. What if I'm on borrowed time, Henrietta? What will I do if I'm kicked off of this railway too? Just then, Diesel purred in. Did you say if you're kicked from this railway? There's no if about it. When we Diesels take over, you'll be one of the first to be scrapped. What rubbish! Why would Sir Tuppermat ever get rid of Toby for a useless, smelly diesel like you? We're not going anywhere. I know you always have a backwards view, but it looks like Toby agrees with me, not you. That's not true at all, and Toby knows it. Don't you? Diesel, what are you doing here upsetting other engines? Now be off, or need I remind you of your first visit to the island? You mean the time you got sent away? Which were soon followed by me making you pack up and go. Now, I suggest that you back off before I do the same again. Just you wait, Steamies. Your time is running out. We Diesels are revolutionary. Diesels like you are a pain in the neck. Thank you, Duck. Oh, it's no trouble, and you shouldn't listen to a word he says. Us Steamies aren't going to be sent away for a load of engines like him. Anyway, this lot's ready for their next run. No, we're not. We want a break. You run us around the ice speeds all day, and now we will have a break and rest our wheels. I think you'll find I tell you when we have a break. I hate to agree with them, but I think you should have a break. Otherwise, there could be trouble. What would the difference be? There's always trouble with this lot. I mean it, you've only just come in. If I were you, I'd stop here for a while. You go so quickly that you won't be late anyway. Percy says he always sees you back at your shed early. So why don't you have a break here instead of there? No, don't be silly. Getting all our jobs done in good time is the Great Western way. But, Duck, after all, the Sodor way of doing things should be used since we're in Sodor, not on the Great Western. Oh, alright, I'll have a break. Now I've been meaning to ask you about the line you ran on before you came to Sodor. This reminded Toby of how he thought that his ways were the reason that the line had been abandoned. You know, or on second thoughts, if you feel that strongly about it, you could probably go now. Are you sure? But you just said, well, you know what they say, some ways are better than others. So ignore me, I'm probably just being an old fusspot. But Toby, if you're sure, I'm sure. Okay then. See you around. Right, no! Don't listen to him! We want a break! Toby, now why on earth did you do that? My ways are getting me kicked off the island, and I don't want them to get Duck kicked off too. But Toby had been right. The truck's wheels ached, and so they became even more rebellious than usual. I wouldn't stop, so now we'll pay him out. If he wants to go fast, we'll make him go fast. We'll wait till he builds up to his highest speed, and then we'll do it. And so they waited until Duck was at higher speed, and then they kept bumping him. Stop it, you, or you'll make us crash. We will have our break, even if it's off the rails. It's a beautiful day, Mr. Oliver, isn't it? Indeed it is, Toad. Ah, there's Duck, Mr. Oliver. That's nice. I wonder how he's getting on. Oliver, send for help! Please send for help! He's in trouble, sir. I know. We'd better try and catch up to his speed. It might be faster if you left me in the truck behind. I can't do that. Someone might crash into you on this line, and I was in time to go and warn anyone about you. As much as Oliver tried, he couldn't catch up. Duck, I'd go and warn a signalman. Maybe he'll know someone who can help you. Just make sure no one else gets hurt, Oliver. He's a very honourable engine, sir. Indeed he is. I just hope he'll be okay. For the last time, Henrietta. Duck's way was probably better than mine anyway. Then who's that over there derailed? What? Oh, hello Toby. It would appear that you were right. What happened? Trucks wanted the rest so badly it didn't matter where, so they derailed me. Not now, please, Henrietta. I'm sorry, Toby. I should have listened to you. No, I should be the one who's sorry. I should have stuck by my pistons and made you be safe. Anyway, I'd better not keep you. Us engines have important work to be doing. Well, those of us who aren't silly at least. Eventually, Duck was mended, and when Toby heard the news, he headed off to give him a visit and see how he was doing. Hello, Duck. I hope you're feeling better. I feel grand, thank you, Toby. And again, I'm sorry I didn't listen to you. You're very wise, Toby. Me? Oh no, I don't know all that much. I wish you would stop being so modest. Let me guess, that's not the Great Western way. If there's anything that this has taught me, is that the Great Western ways can just be absolute rubbish. My oh my, I certainly wasn't expecting you to ever think that. You mean realise? Hello Toby. Have you come for your service week? My service week? That's what I've been trying to tell you. Oh? Yes, back when I didn't have to leap out my car and run over to tell you. I was trying to tell you at the docks. Then that means that my replacement engine was for when you were here being serviced. Oh. For a wise engine duck, I've been acting a fool. Why, what's been going on in that head of yours? Well, I thought my replacement engine was permanent, and that I was going to be scrapped or moved on. Scrapped? I told you not to listen to Diesel! Toby, tell him the full truth. It actually started before Diesel spoke to me. It started when you wanted to talk about the old line. And Toby told him and the Fat Controller everything. That's very silly of you, Toby. The reason I brought you here to Solar is because I was very pleased and impressed by how you worked and your optimism. And as I've got to know you more and more, I've been very impressed by your methods. Oh, thank you, sir. A week later, the two engines met again. Hello, Toby. How did the service go? There isn't anything wrong with me. Well, except my worrying. Now, about that. If I had known me asking about your line would make you feel uncomfortable, I wouldn't have asked. The only reason I did was because I'd heard that it was a very beautiful place. Oh, it was, especially in the autumn when all the trees had fallen. And Toby told Duck all about his old line. Toby had learnt not to worry about the voice in the back of his head telling him that things were worse than they appeared to be. And due to this, Toby had become self-confident enough to tell Duck all about his old line and his close call to being abandoned. Duck was fascinated to hear of Toby's ways instead of the great western ways. The Fat Controller found me, and I've been happy ever since.
They're 2, they're 4, they're 6, they're 8. Shunting trucks and hauling freight. Hey! 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 Red and green and brown and blue, they're the really useful crew. Down the hills and round the bends, Thomas and his friends. Hey! 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 Thomas, he's a cheeky one, he's lame but lots of fun. Pulls the mail on time. Emily knows her stuff. Toots and huffs and puffs.